Greetings. Thanks for stopping by. Health and happiness to you. And speaking of health, we're talking about the Feelbetter Jack. So inside this pink burrito, microfiber burrito, is my new Feelbetter Jack Wolf. So let's unroll it on camera without having it roll away. And here is my new Feelbetter Jack. I put a short video out on the day it was released. But I'm finally getting, that was before Blade Show, finally getting to the tabletop review. And so this is the most recent premium locking version of Jack Wolf, the Feelbetter Jack, which is based off of the Feel Good Jack, which was a slip joint. And often they've taken their slip joint models and then added locking mechanisms. So that's what they did here. So now I have the Feelbetter Jack, and I got the carbon fiber Miami pattern on mine. I looked at what other versions they had available, and I decided this one seemed the most fun to me. There's also a True Blood red and black version. There's a purple abalone and an all titanium version with the sunburst pattern. And there's also a exclusive version over at River's Edge Cutlery in Columbus, Ohio. They had a carbon and copper mixed one. That one looked really nice. But I thought this one was the most fun, so this is one I got. And while I'm thinking of it, I wanted to show you how this UV light makes the, and this is even with a lot of other lights on, you can see how UV makes the color layers pop. And I think that's fun too. So this has blue and pink and black and gray layers. And here's the back side. And here you can see the bolster lock. This is a front flipper, so let's give it a try. And you got a swedge here, you got a long pull on both sides, and then here on the ricasso, you've got Jack Wolf, you have a nice big sharpening choil there, and then on the back side, S90V, so this is from the premium line, high-end super steel S90V, and then you got titanium bolsters and titanium liners, one-piece integral. And then this one has the carbon fiber scales. And back here, this is all one piece. If you can see the bolster and then the liner, it's one continuous piece all the way to the end cap. So that is integral. And then a thin layer of carbon fiber as your scale. And then this is a typical physician knife pattern, which has a flat end. So the way I understand it is, or what they say about physician's knives, is it used to be long and skinny so that you could count, sort pills. So if you had a bunch of pills laying out, you could go 5, 10, 15, and sort and count pills. And then if you needed to, you could use the flat end on the back to smash up the pills into powder. But in the old days, so we're talking 100 years ago, all the medicine probably tasted pretty medicine-y before they invented gel tabs or flavors or whatever. So here's some vitamin A, which probably tastes pretty nasty by itself, but these are gel tabs. So you just swallow those. Vitamin A is good for you. It does several good things, including making your vision sharp when you get older. If you start getting blurry, take some vitamin A supplement, and that's made my vision sharp again, so that's the reason I take that. And then, so we were talking about physician knives, that was the general idea. And let's go, before we do the size comparisons, let's talk about all that came with it. So it comes in this nice black and silver box, and then the tin is inside the box, and then you got some artwork on here, Feelbetter Jack, and then in this case He's wearing surgeon colors, green. Often the hospital personnel will wear green or baby blue, I've seen. So he's wearing surgeon colors, and he's got his assistant there with the Feelbetter. He's actually going to use it as a scalpel, it looks like. And Jack Wolf knives down here, and then a little bit of stuff here. Got the website address, jackwolfknives.com. There's your support email, and several other things. You can pause and read that if you want. And you got your stamp, wolf stamp up here. And on the inside, it comes with that pink fiber, microfiber cloth. I'm not sure how or when they decide the colors, but this one came with the pink one. But they have at least 6 colors, I think. So you never know which one you're going to get. Also comes with a pog. They always come with pogs. And here's the same artwork on the pog. And then the backside, Feelbetter. So if you've seen my video on the pogs, you know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to mount it in a plastic container, kind of like this, a plastic coin container, but I put the pogs in there. I have some that fit. You can go watch my pogs video if you want to find out more about that. So I will be mounting that just like I do with all my pogs. And that keeps them nice and is another way to display them. Also in your tin, you get 2 stickers. The first time I opened a Jack Wolf, I had 2 stickers. I thought I got an extra one by mistake, but now I found out they always come with 2 stickers. And what else comes in there? There's a little filler tab here that you can replace if you want to. You can take off your titanium pocket clip and replace it with a filler tab, and that way you can carry it in a leather slip if you prefer. So that's just an option. And let's look here at some more details, then we'll do the size comparison. So we had our S90V titanium carbon fiber, and then look here at this nice anodized backspacer, full backspacer, and with some jimping. And you got your titanium pocket clip. And one thing I wanted to show you that was a surprise to me is I like how whenever the light catches down there and you get that blue pop of color down in the channel, whenever I see that, that makes me happy. So you get that little color flash. That's something that I wasn't expecting, but the first time I saw that flash blue down in the channel, I like it whenever that happens. Now let's do the size comparisons. So here's some other Jack Wolf knives. Jack Wolf, to me, was originally a slipjoint knife company, or that's their bread and butter, but I have expanded into their locking versions, and also have some of their fixed blades too, but mostly slip joints. So this is my first review on one of their locking models. And you can see it's long and skinny. That's the physician knife pattern. It's pretty similar though, shape. Not as skinny and a little bit wider, and the physician knife looks to be a little bit longer. And then here's a diamondback. You can see a trend here on me. I like Warncliffe sheep's foot type blades. So these are my 3 current in my collection locking Jack Wolves. These are all bolster locks. That's the diamondback. And this one is the Purple Haze carbon fiber. And the one we're reviewing now is the Miami carbon fiber. And this one's dark matter with red. So there's a comparison of those. And let's also do a normal EDC comparison. I do the paramilitary 2 just for size comparison. So let's do a Spidey flick. And you can see that paramilitary 2 represents the larger size range of the EDC range, 3.5-inch blade. And then I got a Sage 5 here with a 3-inch blade. So I'll line up the pivots so you can see the Feelbetter comes right in between. Longer than the Sage and not quite as long as the paramilitary 2. And then you can see keeps rocking on that clip. Even the handles lengths are in between. So next, let's check how does it feel in the hand. So you can see you got plenty of real estate, and we'll do the exact measurements here in a second. But you can move your hand around. You got jimping, feels good. All the corners are chamfered. Even these end corners are chamfered. You don't feel anything unless you like push in right on the corner. You can feel that. But when you're actually holding it, that protrudes off the end, so your skin's never on that corner. And it's the physician pattern. It has to have that flat end, or supposed to be a physician pattern. But that's not a problem at all. It feels comfortable. It is skinny, so that's not a problem. But if you like a knife that fills up your hand more, a skinny knife isn't able to do that because it's skinny. But it does feel comfortable. It's anything you'd want to do, including surgery, I guess. Feels good in every position. So whatever I want to do, EDC tasks, definitely can do it, and it's feeling good in every position. The pocket clip's not getting me. None of these corners are getting me. They're all rounded. So feels comfortable and not detecting any problems at all. So now let's do our exact measurements. And we've got exactly 3.5 inch blade, exactly 3 inches cutting edge, and exactly 7.5 inches overall length. And that's going to give us 4 inches even. So they hit those numbers and inches right on this one. So exactly 4 inches handle. So there's your length measurements. Now let's do the weight real quick. It doesn't feel heavy, so let's see what it comes in. I guess if you got the full metal titanium, that one might be heavier, but you can, I guess, go look up the stats. But let's see if the Miami version equals what's listed as 2.37 ounces. That's pretty lightweight. For a EDC knife, the normal range of weight is 3 to 5 ounces. And if you get under 3 ounces, I always call that lightweight. So we are lightweight with the Feelbetter jack. And let's get our stock thickness now. So normally on the premium lines, it's 0.12. And let's do a tear. We're good. And it's front flipper. And back here on the Ricasso, let's see our stock thickness. 0.12 inches. So that is perfect. I always like, as your standard EDC size knives, I like the 0.12 thickness. So that is fully good there. And then you can see the long, flat spine and coming up to your swedge here. Nice looking swedge. And then I did want to show you the angles. So here's my Warncliffe tester. So this is a square piece of paper folded corner to corner. So you still have a 90 degree here, but this 90 degrees cut in half, so that's 45 degree. What I do is if something is more acute than 45 degrees, I call that Warncliffe. And if it's steeper than 45, I call that a sheep's foot. And here, line up the edge exactly. To me, it looks slightly more acute than 45 degrees. So I would, by my definition, and I hope this catches on because it eliminates the ambiguity that a lot of people seem to have. 45 degrees and under, I call that a Warncliffe. So I'm calling that a Warncliffe. And I'm not sure what it's listed as, but that's what I call it. I would call it. And you can see here that's definitely a Warncliffe. All right, so from their premium line, if you're a collector, they also have a steel series. These are pretty pricey, but they also have the steel line, which is like a mid-tier price. And they have their Gateway series, which is a budget price, so they're hitting all the different markets. There's a knife for everyone. There's a knife shape for everyone. I think I have about 20 Jack Wolfs now, and my collection just keeps growing. It's my favorite, funnest brand to collect lately. So, have we covered everything? Let me check back here. I did have my one of my Gateway Barlows, and it's also in Miami. So look how this is a nice set. So I have a slip joint and a locking knife, both in that Miami, and both of these are Jack Wolfs. So I like to put those together. And I think we pretty much covered everything. We covered what came with it. We did all the stats, and we talked about everything about it. So thanks for stopping by, and go check out some of my other Jack Wolf videos. This was my first locking design, but as you can see, I have 2 others. So reviews will be coming on these later, and I have quite a few other Jack Wolfs I still haven't slip joints. I just got into Jack Wolf late last year, so I'm trying to get caught up on my Jack Wolfs. I'm getting them faster than I'm able to pump out the reviews. So for quite a while, I'll be playing catch up on getting reviews out on all my Jack Wolf knives. So, currently June 2026. These are still available. The titanium was sold out at TPK. I just checked before I started the video, but the other 3 versions were still there. You can look around and see if you can still find them. They haven't been out that long. So, go check it out. Still available on the market. And I'm Skol. Have a nice day, and remember, always carry a knife.